Hello and welcome everyone to my CEO Lunch and Learn series. I'm really excited about this and excited about having the time to be able to do something like this. And so let me introduce myself. I'm Bernadette L. Harris, and I am a business strategist, a finance coach, and I'm also the host of CEO Wellness Retreat here in Mérida. And after 23 years in business, I have seen a full spectrum of what success and stress looks like. And so I created this series to help business owners shift from surviving in their businesses to actually letting them live with intention. I want to be impactful. So, just to give you a little bit of our agenda, so we've done our welcome. And before I get into my personal story, we'll do a little bit of grounding. I'm going to share three takeaways for you today, give you some questions to think about, and extend an invitation to the retreat. And so one of the things that I like to do when I come into my office, before I actually start working, I like to do a little bit of grounding. And so for me, grounding is when I'm sitting straight up in my chair. So you can join me, sit straight up in my chair, and I have really bad posture and I'm known to slouch. And so sitting straight up in my chair is something that I have to be very intentional about. In fact, I bought this little pillow to put in the back of that forces me to sit up straight because it also helps. But putting my feet flat on the ground and just taking a few moments to just breathe in and out. And I'm telling you, just letting your lungs fill up with air and blowing it out of your nose is something that helps me. So let's just do this. We'll just do it together. And we're going to take 3 deep breaths in. So breathe in and out. Last one. Deep breath in and out. I promise you, just doing those 3 breaths, somebody getting on your nerves, your clients acting crazy, your kids, your spouse, whatever, those 3 breaths always help me. So I want to take a moment just to share a little bit of my story. My story is a long story, so I'm giving you the very, very short version of my story. But I remember when there was a time when I was doing it all. My to-do list was something that I bragged about. Like it was like a badge of honor, a trophy that I had this long, long to-do list. And I was the go-to person at home, at work, even in my family, social life. I'm that person that's going to get stuff done. So I'm always busy. My schedule is always booked. I'm going back to back from meetings to meeting. And behind the scenes, I was stressed, right? And even though I was tired, I was still going and going. I remember working 16-hour days and literally would crawl from my office to my bedroom, take a shower, go to bed, rinse and repeat, wake up and do it all over again. And I came to the point where I realized like I wasn't gonna be around if I didn't slow down, if I didn't start setting some boundaries, if I didn't hit pause, um, and allow myself the opportunity to rest and recover. And I'm gonna just tell you, like making that shift mentally, and I know you all know I physically moved, but it was a mental shift that happened long before the physical move. Those things made a difference in how I show up in my business, in my life. And so I want us to look at how we define success and make sure that burnout is not the thing that is making us feel like we're successful because we're always busy, always going. So burnout typically hides with high achievers, right? Oh, sorry, went too fast. With high achievers, right? So many high performing CEOs we experience burnout, but we don't really recognize it because we're hitting our goals and we're getting all the things that we said that we wanted to get, and we're doing all the things and we're productive and we look successful, and sometimes we even feel successful, but we don't recognize that we are burnt out. And so when you are some burnout signs, irritability, if you snapping at people all the time, or you always irritated, whether you snap or not, maybe you internalize it because you don't want to be that mean person, or you don't want to be called the B word, right? And so you're not snapping at them, but you want to, right? You're having trouble sleeping, or God forbid you wake up in the morning and you don't want to do what you used to love to do. And those are all some key signs of burnout. Busyness is sometimes it becomes our identity. Like, I've seen people, and I may have even said this, if I'm honest with myself, I'm booked and busy. My calendar is this and that, right? And so we're constantly hustling, and that is how we determine how valuable we are to people, right? You start to measure that based on how busy you are, how in demand you are. And it's really dangerous when we do this because slowing down feels like failure, right? Or delegating, you don't even have to admit it. But have you ever said, if I want it done right, I got to do it myself? Right. And so, because we think that we're the only ones that can do it, or we can't slow down, we can't delegate, if we don't do this, these things are going to fall apart. Um, this becomes your identity, right? Real leadership is not doing everything. It is not being everything to everybody, right? It is not moving all the time. Some of the best leaders are the people who are able to slow down, to delegate, to recover, spend time thinking and planning, and restoring yourself. And so making sure that busyness is not becoming your identity. It's not who you are. It is not the thing that makes you valuable. Um, and then the last thing is rest is a leadership responsibility. And this is something that I say this to myself, and I say it to as many people as I can on a regular basis. Rest is not a reward. I do not earn rest. Rest is something that is required, and it's something I'm doing every single day. I'm going to rest. So I have some friends that laugh at me and they say that I don't work because whatever. But this is what I believe, and this is what works for me. I have to rest my body 10 hours every day. I'm not sleeping for 10 hours, but I rest my body 10 hours every day. And so, what does resting my body look like? It means like I'm in the bed, I'm laying down, I ain't thinking about y'all, I ain't doing nothing. You know what I mean? I am in the bed and I am resting before. So, I rest before I go to sleep, and then I sleep. And then when I wake up, I rest some more. So, before so I don't jump out of bed. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing. If I have to be at an early meeting, I'm gonna be camera off because I'm gonna have an attitude. First of all, if I got to be there that early in the morning, right? And I'm more than likely I just brushed my teeth and came to the office to be on this meeting. And so it's got to be real important to get me up because that doesn't work for me. And I have given away the whole notion of that whole early bird gets the worm, successful people wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I don't subscribe to that. If you like to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, if you like to jump out of the bed and start your day, fabulous. Go for it. Personally, I'm not doing that. That doesn't work for me. When I am able to rest my body for 10 hours and then I can ease up and work into my day, I get in this office and I get stuff done in 6 hours that sometimes takes people all day to do. Why? Because I am rested. And so I used to think like, oh man, I work so hard. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna sleep real good. I did something to earn that good sleep. And I don't want us to think that rest is something that we have to work for. It's something that we're rewarding ourselves by taking rest. Rest is necessary. It's necessary for us to calm our bodies and to calm our minds, and we can start thinking clearly. And because I'm able to rest the way that I am intentional about resting, the ideas and the creativity and the things that come to me, they come to a rested mind. Because when you are always going and always, you can't get no good ideas. You can't be creative when you're always going and all of that. And so rest is a part of, as a leader, rest is one of your responsibilities. You don't earn it. It is a requirement. It is something that you must do on a regular basis. So those are my three takeaways. And so I want to talk. Let's talk about this. And if you want to come off of mute and chime in, I would love it. I would prefer it if you come off of mute and not type in the chat, because you see these glasses, they don't even work that good. I can't see. So so don't type it in the chat because I won't be able to see it. But based on the conversation, when we think about burnout, what are some of the things that I shared today, whether it was the points, my story, the grounding, what resonated the most with you about that conversation around burnout?
Well, hello, ladies. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here today. And my name is Deidre Pittman. And I've been doing what I do now for over 40 years. And I was that young woman, single mom on hemodialysis, running a tax business. Just being on dialysis alone it was just draining. And I made a quality decision a long time ago that I was way more important than clients or anybody else. And so I'm just glad to see that you, as a young businesswoman, sweetheart, that you understand the benefit of taking care of yourself. Because I get so annoyed when I get on Facebook. I'm up at 2 and 3 because I'm a prayer warrior. I'm called to pray. That's why I'm up. I'm not up doing nothing with business, right? But then you get on Facebook and you see where my hustlers at 3 o'clock in the morning. And I tell them, I said, babies, y'all young. I'm 70 years old. Learn from somebody who has some wisdom. Go to bed, get some rest.
Yeah.
So for me, this tax season, I have help, which was a blessing. But yesterday, I was truly out of character. The fruits of the Holy Spirit were not in operation yesterday, not at all. So therefore, yesterday it was like a burnout. I was annoyed. I was mean. That's totally out of character. So yesterday was a day that I really experienced some burnout. It's like I guess it all just compiled. So thank you for this. I am enjoying it, and I know that you have much more to share.
Anybody else want to share?
I guess I'll come off mute. Good afternoon, ladies. I'm Sybil Slade, and I've been a business owner for about 10 years now. I do wealth management, but I was in the banking and finance world for 20 years prior to that as a financial institution regulator. For me, I do agree with the whole notion of rest. And for me, I will say it's more about showing up as the best version of myself. I do experience burnout, not with my business, but I experience it as a caregiver. So my burnout comes from something else, and I don't want it to impact my business. So when I'm resting or I want to recharge, it's more about sitting still in a quiet place and space. And when I do that, that's typically when I get a lot of ideas that download. I call it downloads. It's divine. I'll piggyback off Deidre that. That's when God speaks to me and shows me things. He gives me a lot of foresight about things to come and what I should be doing next. And so, yeah, just sitting still, no TV, no phone, nothing around me, at least a good 30 minutes. I try to do that. And I do wake up between 3 and 5 when I do wake up overnight. Sometimes he's just giving me divine insight. And then I can go back to sleep for what I call my second sleep. So I agree with that whole notion of like literally getting rest, allowing everything to turn off, right? So that you're a clear sheet.
Yeah, it makes a difference. It definitely makes a difference when you allow yourself time to stop, be still, it makes a big difference. Yvonne, I see you came off mute.
Yes, I did. My name is Yvonne Cox, and I've been in the business about 20 years plus. For me, when it comes to rest, I'm going to be honest, I don't rest like I would love to rest. My mind is always in overdrive, even through the night. It's just in overdrive of what I have to do next. What can I do to improve things with my business? What I can do to improve things with my core team. And, when you have family working for you, sometimes that makes it even harder. So that is something that I'm working on. I don't really feel like burnt out because I guess I don't have time to feel burnout. But when I do get that notion to rest, I realize, dang, you really was tired. So I don't know it until either I go somewhere on vacation and can sleep in, or I don't know if you guys, if I have a procedure, that little stuff they give you and they can't wake you up, I'm going like, Miss Cox, you must be really tired. And a lot of times for me, that's when I realize, girl, slow down. You're really tired.
Yeah.
So that is something that I know for me that I have to work on. I'm not getting any younger either. You know, I'll be 64 here in a couple of months. So, and I know that rest is very, very important. And that is something I'm going to work on. Hopefully, with some changes in infrastructure with my business and stuff, and may give me the opportunity to finally just rest and just get away from it all and just focus on me. But yeah.
Yeah, and I think just for Yvonne, I think that the biggest thing is acknowledging that rest is not something that you got to earn. You don't rest when you real tired. It's something that has to be a part of your
Yeah.
everyday.
Agree.
Acknowledging that. So let's talk. I got another question. So how do you know when burnt out has creeped in? And I think some of you have kind of already said that, and even when you're feeling successful, when you feel burnt out. And I think some of you have said that, and I know I felt that when I got to the point where when it was time to wake up, when I opened my eyes and I'm like, I don't want to get up. You know, that was when I knew like this is not it. I can't keep going like this. And I was feeling successful, yeah, because I was making crazy money, helping lots of people and all of that, but was killing myself. So anybody else want to add anything to that? I know we mentioned it a little bit when we talked about the previous question.
For me, I get brain fog if I'm starting to feel burnout because I am a creative and I have ideas, but if ideas are not coming to me somewhat quickly, I already know that I'm tired and the B12 is not working anymore. So let me be a disclaimer. I do take B12 too. So I have B12 moments. And if I start blanking out and my word search is gone, I'm like, wait a minute. Something is wrong because I am never at a loss of words. So those are kind of my first triggers. But I will also tell you, even with the rest part, I now cheat. And I say that I spray my feet with magnesium spray. So if I'm tired and I know that it's going to take a minute for my mind to wind down before I get in bed, I go ahead and spray my feet with that magnesium spray because I want to get to the rest level of sleep. I don't want to just sleep. I want to get to the rest level of sleep. I want to wake up like this. And so, yeah, so if I know that I'm laying down tired and I still feel a little keyed up because I'm a little anxious about something, I go ahead and spray my feet. So I cheat a little bit just to kind of get myself to where
I've
I need
never
to
heard
be.
that. I don't have like I am my entire life, I've never had a problem with sleep. Thank God. Right. I've never had a problem with sleep. When I was in college, my friends used to be like, gosh, you sleep a lot. I have slept like this my whole life. Are you going to they come knocking on my door? Are you going to the cafe for breakfast? No, I ain't hungry. I'm just like, so I've never had a problem with sleeping. But yeah, I never heard of magnesium spray. I don't think I need it, but maybe one day.
Wow. Speaking of B12, right here, my little spray bottle, right here, honey, right on the desk, right? As far as sleeping, I can listen, this is my life, seriously. Time the head hits the pillow, I'm out, right? So when it's family time to look at TV, because my daughter really gets on me, Mom, we need to have family time. So let's look at a movie. So all the family gathers in the living room. Normally I'm sleeping through the whole movie, then wake up and can go to bed and sleep. So sleep is not a problem. But what I made a decision a long time ago is I don't work Thursdays, Fridays. I don't go back to business until Monday, and Monday is an admin day for me, right? So I do it, I don't care what tax season looks like, I do it all the time. So like right now, I'm actually off now until Cinco de Mayo. I took time off, until May 5th. And when what happens to me when I know burnout is coming in, and it may sound very weird, but it's like a claw. I can feel it like it's grabbing my head.
Wow.
And the first thing I do is I go into spiritual warfare. That's the first thing I do. I go into prayer, but it's just like a claw. And then, like I have my prayer time. And sometimes I will take magnesium if I feel that but normally I'm kind of laid back, easygoing, and don't really stress out. But when I do feel that claw, I know something's not right, and I have to make sure that claw gets gone.
I don't have a problem. Like I said, I could sleep in trains, planes, buses, cars, massage tables. I'll get my lashes done. I heard myself snoring a couple of times. I don't have a problem sleeping. I could sleep anywhere.
Sounds like me getting a massage, getting my lashes done. That's what I realized I'm tired. Just a couple of weeks ago, I was getting a massage, and the lady was saying, "You must be really tired today." So I think I must have snored a little bit when I was sleeping because it was so relaxing. It was so relaxing. I said, "I'm sorry." I said, "I guess I'm just tired," and didn't realize how tired I was until you started massaging me.
That's me. I can sleep anywhere. It does not matter. Um, so what might change if you gave yourself permission to rest before you needed to recover? So before you knew that, oh man, I'm so tired, I got to sleep in tomorrow. What would happen? How would your life be different if you allowed yourself to rest without needing to recover or before you needed to recover?
I think my mental would be a little bit better. I think I would be able to communicate some because sometimes I know if I'm tired of burnout, I can come off a little, and people have to call me out on that. But I don't realize it. But once they call me out on it, then I realize it. So I think for me, the mental aspect of it, I think if I did get the rest, I probably could think clear, be more focused on things that need to be done that I'm not doing now. Because right now, when you don't get the rest and your mind is constantly going and everything is popping in your head, it's kind of hard to kind of keep up with all of that. You can think about it at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and then you go and try to cram everything in, but you still don't have the mental clarity to just think through everything that you're doing.
Yeah.
And then it's like a repeat.
So I'd say for me, I think I would definitely experience more self-love. I think I sacrifice a lot to make sure that everybody else is okay, and I don't necessarily have those reciprocating relationships. And so I need to give myself the same level of grace that I'm giving others. I deserve it too. I'm going to use the word deserve in this sentence. I deserve it too.
Yes.
So I think that's what I would get if I gave myself permission to rest before needing to recover. Because previous conversation, I'm just saying when I see the signs, that's when I know what I need to do. But just doing it systematically, intentionally, not waiting till I get to those points, those inflection points where I know I need it.
I know for me, when even though this is something that I'm very, very intentional about, I want to make sure that I'm clear when I say I'm not perfect and I still sometimes do too much, or I have to catch myself and be like, wait a minute, girl, you're not going back there. So I want to be clear and make sure that I do have moments where I am doing too much and I have to pull back and remind myself of these things. One of the things that I know for myself is that when I am rested, when I allow myself to rest, I am creative and I am efficient. I literally am able to come into my office and get everything that I need to get done for that day done in like 6 hours. And there have been times where another confession where I'm sitting here like, wait a minute, I can't work 6 hours. That's not a full time, and then I have to say to myself, why not? It's not about how many hours you work, it's about how much, whether did you got everything done that you wanted to get done. And so I found that when I allow myself to rest like I am supposed to rest, I can get stuff done a lot faster than I did when I wasn't rested. So that's one of the things that I noticed as a change for me when I allow myself to rest.
I'm not going to be like Maxwell and say bad habits. But okay, so I love to create. I train, right? And I create all of my training. I am addicted to Canva. Right now, I got Canva over here on this screen while I'm here. I'm addicted to Canva, right? So this is where I go down the rabbit hole. So after, I'm not kidding, I can sit down here and after 6 hours, seriously, I haven't had anything to eat, haven't had anything to drink. The ankles look like basketballs.
Yeah,
And
that's
and
not
so
good.
that's the thing that I have really got to take authority over in the name of Jesus, seriously. Because I just get in the creative mode and it just it's like it's just coming out of me and I just have to get it done. But I would say that's the thing that I really need to get some seriously some control over
Yeah.
is that. So I'm like you, I'm not perfect either, even though I do rest, but Canva is like,
Yeah. You know, one of the things I don't have it anymore because I had an Apple Watch and it died. But one of the things that I do miss about the Apple Watch was that when you were sitting for over an hour, it'll beep and say, "All right, girl, time to get your behind up."
I got that on
And
my phone.
and so I like those reminders to
Yeah,
remind myself to get up, to stretch, because I got to get up. I got to get
but I
up. I got to
ignore them.
stretch and move, maybe
Yeah,
go to the bathroom, get some more
yeah,
water or something. And so I think that that is also something else to consider
yeah.
in there too. Yeah.
But see, I ignore the reminder.
Yeah, I've done that too. But then, like when I had the Apple Watch, I'm so competitive that I want to close all my circles. So I had to get up because if I don't get up, then I won't close my circles. So it's
Oh,
that's
oh,
yeah,
okay. Oh, well,
yes.
now, okay, that's an excuse for me to get an Apple Watch then. Okay.
Yeah. Don't you have your daughter mad at me because you went and bought an Apple Watch?
Oh, goodness.
So anyway, so thank you all so much for being here today. I just wanted to this is a precursor to some of the conversations that we actually have at my CEO retreat. And this retreat is not a vacation, even though Mérida is a beautiful city and it's an opportunity to see some great stuff. I'm actually encouraging people to stay a little bit longer so they can see great stuff. But this is really about an opportunity to come together to create strategy for your business, also to rest and connect. And so it's filled with a lot of different things. We're gonna have a beach day. I'm actually hosting a welcome dinner. So all the people who've been salivating over my food when I post it, I'm actually having a welcome dinner at my house. Where I'm at, I'm going to be catering all of the food, and it's so many other things that we'll be doing during those 5 days that people are here in Mérida. So if this strikes something for you, if these dates work for you, I love to have you here at the retreat in Mérida. And if you have any questions, you have my direct contact. So just shoot me an email and we can have a conversation about it. So thanks so much for joining us for this first week. And next week, we're going to talk about clarity. So I will see you all here, same place, same time, same link
Okay.
next week.
Awesome. Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye. Thank you,
Enjoy the rest of
Bernadette.
your
Goodbye,
day.
ladies.
Love it. Thank you.